Hello everybody, this is Gregory with how I lost over 100 pounds and I've kept it off for 30 plus years, where there should be no hesitance in your weight loss and in your weight maintenance. Today, I'm going to admonish you to watch out for the Puritanical Purists. Now, before we begin, if you need help with weight loss, contact me through the Clarity FM link found here in the episode notes. Also, check out my website, which has tons of recipes and articles, my podcasts, my books, and if you appreciate my content, the easiest thing to do is just hit the like and notification button right now. And if you really like my content, there is a link for PayPal to make a donation. All right, so what do I mean by the purist? So the purist is going to be, and there's a lot of these people out there. Certainly there's going to be a lot of these people in terms of like health coaches and people on YouTube or whatever, and they're going to tell you that you must eliminate fill in the blank to lose weight. And that's why I call them the purists. So the most common purists today probably are going to be either the vegetarians, which have been around forever, or it's going to be the gluten-free, lactose-free people. Now hear me out. I'm not saying that you should necessarily have gluten and dairy in your diet. What I'm saying is that the purist will tell you the only way to lose weight and to keep it off is to eliminate gluten, dairy, nuts, whatever their thing is. And look, I get it. I understand. And the problem with this overall is that it's really not sustainable. And the science doesn't necessarily back it up. I talked about on the episode on the microbiome how having dysbiosis in your gut can lead to bloating. Okay? And so there's going to be like correlative studies that would say, well, gluten, especially if you're sensitive to gluten or dairy, will cause you to be bloated. But there's no study that says that gluten makes you fat. Now, again, some of you are purists. Oh, well, what do you? Because you're a purist. You see everything binarily. This is good, that is bad, man. And that's not the way the world works. Everything is in shades of gray. And certainly when it comes to weight loss and weight maintenance, I would recommend that against that. Now, again, this channel is about what has worked for me. Okay, so there are going to be people who eliminate all these things, like in an elimination diet, and they don't have, like the paleo people, for example, they won't have any of these things, and legumes too, and all these things. And of course they're going to lose weight because you're going from the standard American crap diet to a diet that's very not standard American, so you will lose weight. Now the question is, if you check with these people 10, 15, 20 years later, are they still sticking to that diet, and are they being honest? And here, the approach is pragmatic. I look at pragmatism as being much more important. Sorry, I got mosquitoes all over me. I look at them as much more important. And so, it's the long-term goal that matters. And I think you have to look at the question, can you live a life without milk, cheese, yogurt, I'm not going to get run over, I'm going to esplanade here, butter, bread, naan, if you like Indian and Middle Eastern food, pasta, all Danishes, donuts, and all these things. I mean, can you live a life, cereal, without these things? And I think the large majority of people cannot. And I don't blame you, because bread tastes good, and it's okay to like bread. Now, I'm not going to tell you you remember the old USDA pyramid was 6 to 11 servings of carbs. The pyramid that made us look like a pyramid, like a triangle. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm saying that and I mentioned this in a previous episode, I don't believe you should label any food as good or bad, good or evil, angel or devil. I don't believe you should do that, because then it leads you to have kind of a disordered relationship of food. No food is bad, even if you're eating a donut, which is double fried and full of sugar. No food is bad. There's foods that we should eat more often, and there's foods that we should eat less often. When I lost my weight back in 1990, it was in the mania of high carb, low fat. Everything was fat free. I remember eating Intermens pastries that were fat free. Tons of sugar, of course, to compensate for the lack of fat, because fat tastes good. But we had the fat free yogurts, we had the skim milk and all this, and I still lost my weight. So you can lose weight, and I maintained most of it in that kind of paradigm. You can lose weight going high carb, low fat. I would tell you that probably the better route is to flip that around and go low carb, high fat. But people can lose weight in different ways, because ultimately, like I talk about on the episode, what's the main difference between weight loss and weight maintenance, is weight loss is simple. You just eat less calories than the body needs, and by definition, day in, day out, you're going to lose weight. So with the Purist, you're going to go to sites that are going to tell you, if you want to lose weight, eliminate fill in the blank. And I would tell you, be wary of that. I think they are good intentioned, but I don't think you should ever be so binary. And look, maybe it worked for them, or maybe they're just a doctor. Again, I'll have a future episode. Don't trust fat doctors, because I mean, they can't even practice what they preach. Listen to people who have a proven track record of doing it. So fat doctors, if they're telling you to lose weight, or fat dietitians, it's like there's a cognitive dissonance. Like, why should I listen to you? And I think the majority of you will hear what I'm saying, because you don't want to give up bread. You don't want to give up milk. So like in everything, moderation is the key. And you can lose weight and still have dairy, bread, and so forth. Now, if you have celiacs, of course, you should eliminate gluten. And if you have severe lactose intolerance, you should do as well. But today we live in this world of gluten insensitivity, and everyone thinks they're sensitive to gluten. Everybody. And then you ask them, have you done an elimination diet? Have you gotten the blood test? No, because it's all up here, right? And so you hear this echoed everywhere. It's like, oh, I'm sensitive to gluten. Maybe you just get brain fog and you feel like crap because you're eating a lot of carbs, which makes sense. It doesn't mean you're necessarily sensitive to it. Maybe you're getting bloated because carbs lead to insulin being released, and insulin's fat storing. So it's not necessarily that. So just be very wary. And I would tell you in closing, if any purist is telling you must completely eliminate fill in the blank, unless you have the aforementioned diseases like celiac, for example, I'd be very wary of them, because your goal is to lose weight, but your ultimate goal is what? To maintain it, and to maintain it for decades like I have. And I don't think you want a life, and I wouldn't want you to have a life you're never having cheese and bread. I mean, what would you order at an Italian restaurant, right? I guess you just get chicken and vegetables, but come on, life is worth living. Life's worth savoring stuff. So watch out for the purists. Guys, post in the comments. I'd like to hear from you. Hit the notification, subscribe, and share button. Until next time, take care, God bless, and pray.